Welcome back to the year 1987 and Dragon Quest II. This is the final part for this game, and we start with finding the cave island on which the Eye of Maroth is said to be hidden. The island can be found in the middle of the ocean, west of Osterfair. It's pretty easy to miss though. The entrance is blocked by shallow waters, but with using the moon fragment we gathered last time, Hero is able to rise the tides and allow the group to explore the volcanic cave. I hoped Eskar's step guard spell would protect us from the lava under our feet, but this was a misjudgment. As usual, enemies are plentiful in this cave, and on top of getting constant damage from the lava tiles, we also need to grapple with these guys, who suck out massive amounts of Eskar's and Peter's MP, resulting in me trying to run from them most of the times. Another unpleasantness are the new trapped chests, who explode upon opening them or inflict poison. Most surprisingly, there are even people down here speaking of Maroth's Eye as object of great power and peril. How did they come here if the island is only reachable with a moon fragment? And who would want to be here? The deeper we advance into the cave, the more space is taken by the lava. In this dungeon we encounter ridiculous amounts of stairs, till we reach the pinnacle of it, here. Pushing forward across all these lava tiles forces our group to retreat and recover several times, but thanks to it we gain a few levels. The gained MP allows the Free to stay a bit longer and finally find a way out of these two floors that are connected with all these random stairs. Down this road are metal hunters greeting us. It's the first time we encounter this type of monster, with their insane sturdiness and powerful attacks, who are on top of that completely immune against all kinds of magical attempts to weaken them. Pressing past them, we run into an old man, mad at Hero and his companions for intruding a wizard's house. The man's companion shows up immediately to aid his comrade in pushing us away. Hargon's servants are no match for our three scions of Erdrick. Successfully beating them up allows our group to inspect what the two were hiding. In their bag we find a chest containing Maroth's Eye. With this in our hand we finally can leave this terrible place. And return to the old man north of Mindenhall, who told us where to find Maroth's Eye in the first place. Presenting the item now to him, we learn that it can show us what is not apparent. He advises us to use it in a swamp in a hidden valley that might lead the way to Rhone. There's one way to a remote valley coming to mind, which is rather special. To reach it, we first need to return to Baron. In its prison we find a man with the highest level of security around him. I wonder what crime he possibly committed. Speaking to him, he guides us towards a hidden door in the back of the church, which is only visible from within his cell. Behind that door lies a portal linked to a tiny room. An old sage lives here and confirms to us that the road of Rona once was west of here. Stepping out of the monolith we are in, our group finds themselves in a small valley with a rather large swamp at its other end. This should be the place described to us, so we raise Maro's eye up in the air. The mountains respond to our call by shaking immensely, till a cave reveals itself. The three heroes enter, and Princess Peter blows again into her echoing flute, since this is the place where the last quest is supposed to be hidden. And sure enough, an echo answers the song of our flute. But where exactly might it be? This area is huge. Beating the metal hunters in this area takes forever. After encountering lava tiles and trapped treasure chests in the last dungeon, we run into another fun novelty, pitfalls, that drop us into a large zombie-infested room. The room appears empty, but it actually is not. In the bottom right corner stands a lonely chest, its body containing a most precious item. Opening it, we get the last missing quest, the quest of life. Relieved to have found it rather fast, we suspend our cave exploration in favor of visiting the wizard Rubis. Remember? We got told by the Dragon Lord's grandson that she should seek out the wizard at the ocean floor as soon as we gathered all 5 quests. Thankfully I traveled a lot already, and by finding the cave with Maro's eye, I also encountered a tiny spot in the ocean. Up until now no one was here. Our 3 heroes haste down the stairs to the ocean floor. But this time as well, no person is to be seen. Frustrated, Hero steps into the middle of the magical circle on the ground. This was the right move, as we get introduced to a voice naming itself Rubis, a friend of the legendary Adric, which makes this wizard's voice generations old. As friend of Adric, he promised to help when needed, and gifts Adric scions with a charm, enchanted with a protection spell. Now we can recommence the exploration of the cave to Rona. This expedition will become a long endeavor. The cave is constructed into multiple segments. The first level has 2 stairs connected with the second level. Both upper rooms look identical and lead into a hallway with rooms to each side, looping endlessly. It took me a while to understand how this works, and that it is basically just 2 identical constructions that are connected to one another. Using the stair in the middle of the first floor, it's the 3rd room top in the hallway that leads to the next level. Here our heroes need to navigate through a giant tunnel. Exploring this segment is rather fun, but consumes a lot of MP, resulting in back traveling and restoring. We will do this a lot in this dungeon. Exploring this area rewards Hero with Adric's armor, the strongest gear he can obtain. After passing this, a true torment awaits. Another giant room, filled to the brim with pitfalls. Falling down not just sets the group back, but also lets the group re-enter way further away from the stair that leads up, forcing us to navigate around even more pitfalls. There is no indication whether a tile is safe or not, just try and error. Also, falling down and crawling up again closes all pitfalls we stepped in so far. Means we even need to memorize where to step. Or, as I did it, use the power of pencil and paper and draw a safety map. You might think, okay, after this, the player will be released. But no, not yet. The final layer is a labyrinth with just one true path. Stepping into the wrong corridor loops the group back to the start. And beware, even in here is a pitfall or two, dropping us to the giant pitfall maze we just escaped from. Within all this, the most powerful sword of the Prince of Middenhall should be found. I explored thoroughly, but could not find it. I will have to look it up and return to pick it up later. For the time being, my heroes and I are happy to escape the cave and be welcomed into a total white space. I cannot express how fitting the white feels when escaping this dark horrors, seeking the light of the exit. Of course, the snow plateau we are now on is no friendly place by any means. Our three get confronted with giants and other terrible creatures. Having to fight these while searching desperately for a safe point is devastating. But holding on long enough gets rewarded with a secure, idyllic haven. A priest to save our progress and heal our heroes' wounds. We made it. We got to Rhone and have a safe point to explore from, without needing to recross this nightmare of a cave behind us again. We only need to re-enter it once more to collect Hero's Thunderblade, but this time from this side, and with the option to port us out of it to this side again, using Esca's or Princess Peeta's magic. Checking the internet for the location of the sport, I found a map of the cave. We need to return to the ground of the pitfalls in the large room we dropped from so many times before. Down here is another pitfall, the only one, which leads us to a unique chamber where we get the sword. I presume the original manual had a hint for that, but in-game there was nothing, except the mention of its existence. The next hours we will spend on trying to reach Hargon's castle without dying. All enemies, and I mean it, all enemies have a one-hit kill attack, and perform it randomly. This is truly frustrating. Sometimes we make good progress, but other times we need to return to our safe haven immediately after exiting it. All the dying is necessary, though, to travel enough times and gather enough experience to later stay a chance against the foes we are about to face. The first time we make it to the castle, we are greeted with a green meadow and all this snow. The castle we find ourselves in is all too familiar. We are back to Hero's home. Everyone is here, even the king, speaking to Hero like they always do. Even so, this is not the real one, nor a bug. The voice of Rubis and many other elder in the game repeatedly warned us of Hargon's exceptional deception skills. So Eska uses the charm the Free got from Lotus' friend. Rubis' voice arrives and orders the Free to not get deceived by all this illusion. Reopening their eyes now, Hargon's dominion reveals its true face. Ghosts are floating through the halls, people of Bragol who used to sell tools, and some still caught in the illusion, stuck in Middenhall. Who might all these souls be? Approaching the two demons guarding the empty throne results, unsurprisingly, in a battle. The two give us no intel, just pitying us that we escaped the false paradise. Now the Scions of Erdrick are supposed to pay for interfering with Hargon's plans. This kind of monster we faced many times before. There is nothing new to increase the level of threat they represent. With ease, our group manages to put them out of the way. Using the Jailer key and Gold key one last time grants our heroes access to a large portal room. But the device only responds to Maro's eye. With its help, our Free reached the last tower. Contrary to all the other towers we ascended, there's just one straight way up, with no labyrinth in between the heroes and Hargon to distract us. In this tower, Hargon relies instead on his champions to block us from advancing all the way towards him. First is Atlas, who does not notice our Free arriving and gifts them with a free round of attacks. Atlas follows a very simple pattern. He simply hits twice per round with his club. But one round is enough to finish one of our heroes off, if he succeeds. By using the surround spell, Atlas' accuracy gets lowered and his clubs start to miss the heads of our heroes, giving them the chance to survive. One level higher in the tower waits the next champion. Bazuzu is way smarter than his predecessor and can't be touched by debuffing spells. Also, he uses aerial attacks, hitting our whole group at once, which makes him all the more dreadful. Somehow getting past him, our Scions of Erdrick need to face the third and final of Hargon's champions, Zarlox, the most powerful one. Magic does not work against him, and like Bazuzu, he uses aerial attacks. To top it off, Zarlox is also capable of casting the Heal All spell to completely recover from all the damage our heroes managed to stack on him, effectively erasing all the progress our group made on him. Our heroes run in circles. They don't manage to pull off enough damage before all their efforts become in vain by just one spell of their enemy. There's just no way to get past Zarlox if we continue like this. In a desperate attempt, Eska tries to defeat spell, even though every other magical spell had no effect. Yet, to my surprise, it worked. Now the way to Hargon is free, and we will return after healing the wounds and refreshing the MP of our group one final time. Hargon is busy at an altar on the top of the tower. He doesn't even seem to have known of our coming. Even so, he also ain't impressed the slightest by our Scions of Erdrick reaching him. Hargon is only annoyed by the audacity to dare stand against him. The iniquity of disturbing him is answered with a fight, and our three prepare themselves for a tough one. by buffing their defenses before facing explosions casted against them. Eska and Princess Peter are completely focused on keeping the group alive, to give Hero the option to deal as much damage as he can. Hargon, like the last champion, is capable of completely healing himself. In difference to his minion, he's not as sturdy. Still, Hero has no other choice than to push himself to the utmost, in order to get enough damage out to eventually bring Hargon down to his knees. Defeated. Hargon needs to acknowledge the strength of his opponents, but he has one final trick in his sleeves. With his death, he summons the ultimate and strongest evil alive, the Sorcerer of Shadow Times, the pure evil, unbeatable Maroth. Following Hargon's announcement, nothing happens, and our group decides to leave. Their attempt gets interrupted by flames spreading around them and blocking their way. The tower starts to crumble under the appearance of Maroth. Following the pattern of Dragon Quest I, the sprite of our final enemy gets scaled up all over the screen, effectively increasing the tension for the final fight. Erdrick's Scions need to withstand a combination of physical and magical attacks, all striking with immense power against them. To spice the danger even more up, Maroth occasionally sends our group to sleep, blocking them to heal one another. The MP of Princess Peter and Eska is depleting alarmingly rapid, while using all of the strongest available healing spells to keep everyone alive. But thanks to Hero's constant efforts, Maroth falls before we run out of MP. Celebrating their victory, Ruby's voice proudly descends and announces a new era of peace, delivered by our heroes. The last fight tore apart Hargon's castle, and nothing remains of it. Joyfully and exhausted, Prince Hero leads the three back to their safe haven. No monster dares to face them on their way. The news already reached the priest, and he celebrates the victory over the great evil. Using the peaceful road and seas, our group revisits Tentacle. They return to the king-like person in the small room above the gear shop. Now finally, the man confesses to be the missing king and apologizes for deceiving the three. The great-grandson of the former Dragon Lord greets the three happily and congratulates them for their victory. He even offers them to put the past behind themselves and become friends. We return to the ruins of Princess Peter's home to say our final goodbyes to the spirit of her father. The king now is ready to see the light of Rubis rising from the sea and calling for him. In Cannock, Eska's father praises the victors full of gratitude to have witnessed the line of Erdrick succeeding once more. He advises the group to return to Middenhall to fulfill Prince Hero's new duties. But before we leave, we visit Eska's sister once more. She's impressed by her brother's deeds and promises to never doubt him ever again. Now our journey ends where it started, in the prince's home of Middenhall. The king receives his son with kind words. Hero has proven himself worthy and is now offered to step into his father's shoes and become the new king. After handing over the crown to his heir, he directs one final plea to the cousins of the new king. He wants them to ensure the safety of the land forevermore. With this final quest and its unknown outcome, we are released to the credit scene. It's done! We are through the second game of this historic series. It's always a bit sad to finish a game, but a new one will soon fill the empty spot, though it won't be Dragon Quest III, since this will be released in the year 1988, and we will remain in 1987 for a bit longer. The next title on my list will be our first action RPG. Until then, bye!